In this video, we're going to look at straight line equations. A straight line equation is just an equation, y equals some function of x, the graph of which is a straight line. But let's look at an example. So consider the equation y equals 2x plus 1. What does the graph of this equation look like? Well, to investigate this, we can plot a few points on the graph. So let's make a table of x coordinates and their corresponding y coordinates for this equation. So we'll choose the x coordinates -2, -1, 0, 1 and 2. We could choose any x coordinates and plug them into the equation to get the y coordinates. So we'll just pick these numbers because they're whole numbers and they're relatively small, so they should be quite easy to plot. So let's start with the first one, x equals -2. If we plug this into our equation for y, we get 2 times -2 plus 1. 2 times -2 is -4, plus 1 is -3. So the first point we're going to plot is -2, -3. Let's look at our second x coordinate, -1. If we plug this into the equation for y, we get 2 times -1, which is -2, plus 1. -2 plus 1 is -1. So our second point is -1, -1. Similarly, for our next three x coordinates, we get 1 for 0, and then for 1 we get 3, and for 2 we get 5. So let's try plotting these. We'll take the first one, -2, -3. Plot this. We first move 2 along the x-axis in the minus direction. That brings us to here, at the end of this red line. And we go 3 along the y-axis, also in the minus direction, which brings us to here. So the point we want to plot is here, where these two dashed lines meet. So let's put a point here. For -1, -1, which is our next point, we have to go along the x-axis and the y-axis 1, and in both cases in the negative direction, so that puts us here. So that's where that point is. And similarly, 0, 1 lies here, 1, 3 lies here, and 2, 5 lies here. Hopefully you can see these all lie in a straight line. So we just draw a line through them, and there is the line of this equation, or the graph of this equation. But in fact, any straight line is given by an equation like this one here. So let's just state this. So the equation of a straight line is any equation of the form y equals ax plus b, where a and b can be any numbers. So in the example we just looked at, we had y equals 2x plus 1, so a was 2 and b was 1, but a and b could be any real numbers, whole numbers, decimals, positive numbers, negative numbers, or 0. It doesn't matter. In any case, we would get a straight line when we tried to plot the equation. So to see this, we'll look at a few more examples. So example, draw the lines given by the following equations. So 1, y equals -2x minus 2. So this is indeed in the form we have up here at the top, y equals ax plus b, where a is -2 and b is also -2. So we know this is going to give us a straight line, which means to plot it, we just need to pick any 2 points which lie on the line, plot them, and then draw a line between them. We don't need to pick 5 points like we did earlier. We can just pick any 2, draw a line between them, and there is our straight line. So we have a free choice of what x coordinates to choose, so let's just choose x equals -1. We plug this into the equation and we get y equals -2 times -1, -2. Well, -2 times -1, the minuses cancel out and we just get 2. And then when we subtract 2, we get 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. So our first point is -1, 0. That lies here. So for our second x coordinate, we'll just choose 1. So nice and simple, we've chosen -1 and 1. So when x is 1, y is minus 2 times 1, minus 2. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. Subtract 2 again, we get minus 4. So we have the point 1, minus 4, which is down here. We finish by drawing a line between them. So this is how you would do it, even if you were just doing it on paper with a pencil, which is what you would be doing. You draw your axes, you pick two x coordinates, sub them into your equation to get the y coordinates, plot those 2 points, and then draw a line through them, and there is the line of the equation. So let's take a second example. Y equals 0.5x. So this looks a bit strange because we don't have a b. That's because our b is 0. So a is 0.5 and b is 0. So we have 0.5x plus 0, which is just y equals 0.5x. So this should still give us a straight line. Let's have a look. This time we'll pick x coordinate minus 2. We plug this in and we get y equals 0.5 times minus 2. That's the same as a half times minus 2. Well, if we half minus 2, we get minus 1. So minus 2 minus 1. Then we'll pick, that's this point here. Then we'll pick x equals 2. When x equals 2, y equals 0.5 times 2, which is 1. So 2, 1, which is this point here. And again, we finish by simply drawing a line through them. Let's do one final example. So example 3, y equals 5. This looks very strange because there's no x term. Well, that's because we still have an equation in the form y equals ax plus b, but this time a is 0. So when a is 0, you get 0 times x, and that which is just 0, and therefore the x term disappears. And b is 5, so we end up with y equals 5. So once again, this should give us a straight line, so let's investigate. This time we'll pick as our x coordinate minus 3. Well, what happens when x is minus 3? Well, the equation just tells us y equals 5, regardless of what x is. X doesn't even come into it, y is just always 5. So when x is minus 3, y is 5. Similarly, if we pick, and again, that's this point here. We've gone minus 3 along the x-axis and then 5 up the y-axis, and we've got to this point here. Then we will look at x equals 3. Well, once again, y equals 5. It doesn't matter which x coordinates we pick, the y coordinate will always be 5. So we go 3 along the x-axis in the positive direction and then 5 up the y-axis in the positive direction, and we end up here. We draw a line through these 2 points, and there we have it. So you will notice this line is parallel to the x-axis. It's a completely horizontal line. That will always be the case when y equals some constant without an x term. We will just get a line going through the y-axis at that constant. So in this case, the line cuts the y-axis at 5, and it is parallel to the x-axis.